here are some of the things, cost factors that we look at, that we're trying to address. One, of course, is what does turnover cost us? Have you ever thought about, within general, what does one turnover actually cost us by the time you rehire? And
Any calculations or anything, but I would say.
Is there a formula?
Well, there's some people have different formulas. It depends on what it is. When I used to hire salespeople, when I was working with Dale Carnegie, I figured every time I hired a salesperson, I took $5,000 bill out of my pocket and I burned it. That was a minimum that was going to cost me to hire that person and bring them on board and get them up to speed. Minimum. That was back in the 80s. You know, today that's probably more like $10,000 to do that same kind of job. But every time that we have turnover, we of course have the hiring, we have the retraining, we've lost production, right? All these kind of things come in there. So that turnover cost. The lost productivity cost. Again, we're trying to get somebody up to speed, because even if I'm from within the industry and maybe I've done this in somebody else, another company, does that mean I can just drop in here and automatically function within your organization? No. Different culture, different methodologies, different systems. I've got a learning ramp. So that lost productivity comes in there. The rehire cost. This is the fastest fire I've ever heard of. Company down in Sioux Falls, across 4 states, but they have a process where they go through about 4 or 5 interviews before they hire a salesperson. They run them through several personality type of programs. The interviews are pretty intense, 2 and 3 hour long, and they hired this guy after they went through all of this. First day on the job, Monday morning, he's in the office. Boss comes in, the owner comes in. I don't know what the guy did or what it was that he did, but the president fired him before 9 a.m. because he said, I'm not going to tolerate that in my organization. It's the fastest fire I've ever heard of, especially after all that investment. That his retention of people was 20 years in a high-powered sales situation. So obviously he's doing something right with it. He knows what works and what doesn't work for him. But that rehire cost can really cost us. I mean, how many here right now are in hiring mode? You know, everybody, right?
What's the number of that guy?
But here's one I really want to emphasize. What about management time cost? You think about this. If you think about how you onboard somebody today, how much time is management spending with that person in what I'm going to call remedial 101? Going through handbooks, going through information, going through systems. And you've got either an employee or a manager or somebody by their side, kind of going through things. Quick example here. CEO wants to meet with every single employee that comes into the company. He has his values and why we function speech that he gives them. And then they have a little bit of a conversation. Does that, if they hire 10 people this year, that's 10 times, right? We figured his value is someplace between $300 and $400 an hour. How much time is he investing doing that? Now, is that a good thing to be doing that? Yeah, it's a good thing. Is there a better way to do it? Videotaped him. Gives the same speech. Videotape it, maybe have a little written material, and actually ask 4 or 5 very pointed questions to make sure they understand what the values and what he's really trying to get across with his speech, right? Now, and then they ask the new employee to write some questions. What questions do you have for the CEO when you meet with him? The conversation goes from 101 to 700. Would you believe that?
Yeah.
The conversation level, the intensity, and the value of that conversation is completely changed. And that's what I'm really talking about here, is management time cost. Are there ways to elevate management's time so it has more impact with that new employee? So they're not back here doing 101 remedial reading, but they're up here at 700 or 800, actually having an impact on that new employee, making that employee feel much better, and getting a much better understanding at a higher level. So how do you do that? So that's one of the things about onboarding, is are there things that we can do that can maybe take some of that simpler stuff, put it in a different format, but still get the same job done. And especially today with technology. I mean, it's amazing stuff. So that's what I mean, conversations with substance, is that kind of an idea. Any thoughts on that one?
Great idea.
Yeah.
Remember our 3 books, Bypassing No, Body Language and Influence Language to Get More Yeah, The Selling Gap, Modern Day Selling Ideas for Today's Market, Business Expert's Guide to Business Success, Learning How to Build Your Business Through Expert. All 3 are available at Amazon or our website at AskHG.com.